Bada boom. All right. Greetings, one and all. Let me just zoom in on me. You can see on your screen right now is the great Eric Kinney in Spokane, Washington. I'm Seymour Segnet here in Cornwall, New York. The Hudson River is outside the window there, and it is December the 1st, 2017. This is your weekly update. I need to start with a quick apology. I said that I would say hello over Thanksgiving, regardless. And my wife Amy became terribly sick right after Thanksgiving. She served a delicious Thanksgiving dinner and then immediately became sick, and it turned out it was pneumonia. And in the palaver, I didn't do an update for you last week, so my apologies. But we're here with bells on this week, aren't we, Eric?
We are indeed.
And let me give you the sort of quick mechanical update from the development side. Most of the work at the moment is going on just finalizing the actual, and by the way, this model, I always feel embarrassed showing this because this is one of our original prototypes that was handmade, and this looks slightly yellowing. This will be a beautiful pure white, I promise, when you get yours. But just doing some final work on this mechanical connection, and in particular these tiny little electrical connections here, right? Because as you know, there's a bunch of ways of getting power into your MAGFAST devices and a bunch of ways of getting power out, and the MAGFAST connection is going to be the quickest, easiest and fastest connection because it's a direct electrical contact connection, boom, like that. So you're getting metal on metal directly through, but obviously for this to work, thousands, tens of thousands of times repeatedly and have the contacts work each time, that needs some very fine work. So it's an important piece, but it's a relatively simple piece that's been left later in the development process. So that's the main thing that we're working on. And we had Eric, you said there were a couple of questions, and one of them is even sort of somewhat related to that, I think. So what do you got?
You were kind of explaining just a little bit about that before we started, and you said, well, let's save it for the show. So I still don't have the answer to it, but here's the
show. Did you just say show?
Yes, I just said show. The update, the weekly update.
Let's put on a show. Okay.
So this is Keith. Enjoying your weekly update
Hey,
videos. He didn't call it a show. Have a question regarding wireless charging. In the last video, Seymour mentioned all devices have wireless capability. My question is this. Say my MAGFAST time is running out of charge and I want to top it up from the fully charged MAGFAST life.
Okay, so here's his time. So this is he's saying this is out of power, right?
Or needs, it's running low.
So he's been on a 2-week trip charging up his Apple Watch every day for 2 weeks, or he's been using it for other things as well, which is fine. All right, so this is empty, and he wants to top it up using one of the others, right? I think maybe he's got a. Well, it could be any of the others.
Specifically said charging magnetically, but there's different ways, right?
Right. Sure. So the first thing. So this is actually. This is a really simple answer. So the answer is, when you plug any of our power banks, because these are all power banks, right? When you plug any of them into anything, they will deliver as much power as the other thing will take. So if you take your life and you hook it up to your phone, either wirelessly or with the little cable plugged into the bottom, all right, it will move as much power through as it can. So if this has got 4 or 5 charges or something like that in for an iPhone. It depends on the iPhone model and so on, but something like that, 3, 4, 5 charges in it. It will, if it's full, it will fill this up completely, and then it'll have one less iPhone's worth of charge in it. So if it's depending on your model, if it has 4 to start off with, it'll charge it once, and then it'll have 3, and then you can exhaust this, and you can do the same again, and you'll be left with 2 in here. Does that make sense? So and what I've just given you is an example of iPhone. This could be anything at all. This could be a USB flashlight. It could be. I mentioned poor Amy had the pneumonia, so she's been using one of those little, what's it called, inhaler defibrillator thing, and that charges by USB. So you can plug that in, and it'll move as much power through as it can in order to do that. Does that make sense? To charge it, which is just generally the way that batteries work, right? So in the case of one of our things charging another thing, here in this case, All right, this has slightly less capacity than this does in terms of battery, right? Because it's got this big hole in the middle, right? So it hasn't got room for quite as many batteries in here. But in that particular case, if this were full and this were not, what you do is there's actually 3 ways of connecting them together that I will show you in just a second. But you want to think in terms of these power banks as having an in end and an out end. So power comes in this end, either through the little goodies on there or through the USB there. Okay, and
so
out.
Which end is in or out? Oh, okay.
And then out, either using the cable, which I promise will be white, or from the USB-A outlet, the kind that you've used for years, or take the cable out and there's the USB-C down in there as well. Okay,
so everything on that side of it is an out.
Everything on this end of it is an in. So here, meanwhile, same thing over here, right? This is the beauty of the system, you see. So now, this is the in end of here. This is the out end of here. Put them together, all right? And as much power as this one has and this one will take, it will move across.
And if you wanted to.
And if you wanted to, you could connect them with a cable, though I can't actually see any particular reason for doing that. So you could just get a USB cable.
I was going to say you could use the time charger. Let's say that your watch was at the repair shop and you didn't need it right now and you wanted to just pull some power out of that.
Yeah, or you could go the other way around. Absolutely. Yep. But it'll just go from it'll go in that direction. Now, these guys also have here's an extreme and here's a regular life and here's a life extreme. So they also have wireless, right? And they have 2 wireless Qi wireless coils in them. This side with the picture and the button on it, this is the out side, right? And this side on the underside, this is the inside. So here's how it's going to work. If you want to charge your phone, you'll lay this on the deck, boop, and you put your phone on top like that, right? And that's how you will charge, because the power is going to come out of the top of here and into your phone. If you want to charge up your life from your life extreme, you're going to put it on top, and it's going to come out of the outside and in through the inside. And there's actually 2 coils inside, 2 wireless charging coils, and they're dedicated. So there's an out coil on this side and an in coil on that side. So there you go. It'll move as much power as it can from the source device to whatever you're charging, whether it's one of our devices or a phone or anything else for that matter. Yeah.
So you'll probably think I'm being difficult, but
no.
So show me how the magnets go together. How you couldn't get them the wrong way.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Together.
So you see, your question is what happens if you try and put 2 in ends together, right? So here's 2 in ends that shouldn't go together. Sorry, this is 2 out ends that should not go together, right? Okay. Well, there's several ways that they won't go together. So one of the ways is that the magnets actually repel. Can you see that? They're actually pushing each other apart.
Okay.
Right. The other thing is that mechanically they don't fit together because those little bumps. Do you see that they're bumps with the electrical contact down inside the bump?
And that's to prevent them from doing a half twist, right?
So you got bumps with the connection down inside the bump. So even if you were to force against the magnet and touch these together, the electrical contacts wouldn't be made, right? So they push away like that. So you're not inclined to put them together. It's incredibly difficult to get them together. Even if you do, the electrical contacts can't touch and short out. So they naturally only go together this way or this way, but they repel here and they repel here. And the other thing is, I don't know if you can see, maybe this is a good, this would be a good example here. Which is the best example. Which is a nice clean one to look at. Do you see that one's a circle and the other's a square?
Mm-hmm.
So even on the same end, even if you've got them the right way round, you can't put. You couldn't put positive to negative and negative to positive. Because the square and the circle won't fit. And the other thing is that they can't short out by putting them, for instance, onto a metal table because the electrical contacts are
or coins in a purse
or coins in a purse or whatever. And then if you did short them out somehow or other, there's electrical protection inside that will immediately cut it out. So it's a very simple but very thoughtful design. All right, any other questions? Hello at magfast.com, by the way. Hello at magfast.com with all your questions, and we love getting them. We love we adore your criticism, and we can withstand your compliments.
So I do have another one here that has a little bit of a compliment built in at the end. Good morning, all. I was listening to Seymour's update. It occurred to me that I might not be able to use the wireless feature of the various chargers from my iPhone. I have an iPhone 4. Will it charge wirelessly too, or do I need to upgrade my phone?
Yeah.
And
So,
P.S. Your hair looked fine, and that's from 2 weeks ago.
what was that about? I was saying that I saw a tuft of hair sticking out of something.
Amy of putting you on air without.
All right. So this one's pretty simple. Obviously, the different models of phone from different generations do and do not have wireless charging. Apple have only just introduced it in the latest iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 models. So it's only native. It's only built into the phones in the latest models. However, for several years now, different third-party manufacturers have been making cases and little devices. And I don't actually have one, but there's two things you can do. So what you do is you go searching for iPhone 4 QI case or charger, or maybe just iPhone 4 Qi would be the search that you would do at your favorite online store or on the web in general. And so you can either get a case that will include a little connector that goes into the bottom of the phone, so the case will have the coil in to do the pickup and connect in there, or I think you can also get just the coil. I think some people sell, so you can keep the existing case. You just get a kind of coil that kind of fits in there and has a very flat wire that comes out and fits into the bottom. And I don't know the exact prices, but
I had seen one also that was like a little dongle. It keeps your phone completely clear of whatever, you could keep your existing case, for example.
Yes.
And it's just, you just plug the little dongle in. It's got a little deal hanging out the back.
Yeah.
So you just like lay the dongle on top, and that thing picks up the charging feature.
Yeah.
Right on.
There's a variety of different things, and if you go to Starbucks, for instance, they have a kind of, very industrial-sized kind of puck because when they started putting it in, most people didn't have wireless charging. Nobody with an iPhone, only some of the Android community had it. So they put them in, and then you go in there and you sort of borrow this puck, and you put the puck down on the wireless thing, and you plug it into your phone.
Similar to what I had seen.
Yeah.
So I had it.
Super. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, Eric.
There are not.
Okay.
That I've prepared.
Terrific. Well, keep them coming, please. We do aim to answer. I'm sorry, we were a little slow over Thanksgiving, but we do aim to answer them, pretty quickly. Usually within 24 or 48 hours. It's a small, very dedicated team, and there goes the Albany train. This is your update for.
One of which has pneumonia at the moment, but.
The Albany train has pneumonia. What?
No, you said a small dedicated team.
Oh, I see.
One of which has pneumonia at the moment. So
Okay. Yes.
Bit of a kink into
it. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for attending. We could not do this without you. This year has been challenging for lots of people in lots of ways. We are incredibly optimistic about next year. We're thrilled with our partners at P3 International. We just couldn't have asked for. It's kind of. You're doing something as complicated as this, and you partner with people. There are partners, and there are kind of unbelievable partners, and so we love the guys at P3. Thank you, Shawn. Thank you, Damien, who helping us in all kinds of ways. Sounds like an end of year comment, this, doesn't it? Rather than the beginning of December comment. But I would just say that we're feeling terrific about next year. So let's get this one finished off, and in the new year, not early in the new year, but during the summer. We will be shipping you some really, really gorgeous chargers, and we're thrilled about it. And thank you for your support, which is amazing. And we've got some good things coming down the pike. Eric is. We decided not to push this out hard before Christmas to everybody, but because you're here watching right now, I'll tell you about it. Eric is close to finishing up the gift cart. So as I say, we're not going to be hammering everybody on email with it, But what do you think, Eric? In another week or 10 days, so just in time for Christmas, we'll tell you about it here when it's ready. But we'll have a way that you can come in and do a little kind of gifting of a MAGFAST wall to other people. Add some accessories to it if you want. As I say, we're not going to try and we want to just get it working gently and make sure everything's working fine before we push it too hard. But as you're here, you're one of the people who comes along and watches this update every week. You will be the first to hear about it. Okay? That's it. December the 1st. Hello@magfast.com. Keep them coming. We love you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you at the same time, same place next week. Bye.